Hey guys, this is Wave 618, 27th of November 2018, just gone 9 PM GMT. Alright, thought I'd do a quick update on Bitcoin. It's been a while, so might as well do an update. I hadn't done one straight away. I've not been doing them as frequently just because it's really been playing out the way I had really suggested it would, and I've just tried to do quick reminders using Twitter, just posting a few pictures and stuff explaining what's happening. But I think we could do with a video right now just explaining what I expect to happen from here. Alright, so just for people who are new to the channel, I'll explain from the beginning everything that has played out in this big correction that we're seeing before us. So so we've got Bitcoin here. I used Bitstamp charts, and we're on the logarithmic scale, and so we've been pulling back all the way throughout 2018, and I've always thought of it as a WXY pattern, with this being our W, X being a descending triangle that's A, B, C, D, E. So that's our wave X that finishes there. And then we're seeing our final Y wave, which I expect to be a three-legged wave, with this being the first leg, second leg, third leg. And now we've just got to determine where it comes down to. As I've mentioned previously, I was forecasting 3200. Reason being is because there is an excellent Fibonacci relationship between wave W and wave Y, in the sense that there is it's a 0.382 extension of wave W. There we go, we've got our 0.382 right there, around that 3200 mark. So that's one reason for the 3200. The other reason was it's the bottom of this order block. So that's on the daily chart. That said, if we were to zoom in and look on the weekly chart, the order block is, in fact, the bottom of the order block is at 3600. So that is a really key level. It's where we're sitting right now. This dotted black line is the equilibrium of this daily order block, and you can see that it's really acted as very good support. That's where we're sitting right now. If we go on the 4 hourly, we can see how well this line has acted as support. You can see there's been no close below this dotted line, so it's clearly a significant level, and it's acting as good support right now. There's been a few breaks, but it's only been wicks on the 4 hourly chart, so clearly a significant level. Alright, just zooming back out into our daily time frame. So I've been looking at this WXY to play out. As I say, 3200 was my target, and I should show the pitchfork as well that I had drawn. So these are the three main aspects to my analysis. So I'll use Elliot wave, I'll use order blocks, and I'll use pitchforks, and I try and use the confluence of those to determine where price will go. Let's see. Okay, this is the one. So this is a shift pitchfork, and basically you draw your pitchfork using the first two waves, so W and X. So first pivot at the start of W, second pivot at the end of W, third pivot at the end of X, and then you get your lines drawn out, and you can see we're currently at the median line, which always acts as good support and resistance. So it's no surprise that we're finding a bit of resistance support here. The line is the pitchfork is behaving very well here. Now, if we were to breach this line, this median line, the next point is obviously the lower median line. Now that, if we're to come all the way down here, we're looking at price of being around 2,300. That would be a very, very steep fall. A very steep fall indeed. So I'm not too sure that's going to happen. I do think we might see a bit of a retracement up off this level before we come down further. I do expect us to make another leg down, because if this was the bottom, I'd expect a big what we call an automatic rally, if we use Wyckoff's term. So Wyckoff was someone who analysed the charts and looked at what we call accumulation and distribution phases, which were these range-bound periods. And the beginning of a range-bound period would often start with an automatic rally, which is where, when the bottom is formed, you see a very strong show of strength as price rebounds up, and then it will consolidate before eventually going up further. Now, we've not really seen that automatic rally here. Yes, we've got volume coming in, but if you look on the daily chart, or in fact even the weekly, if we look on the weekly chart here, the high volume, it just corresponds with this big red candle. So this would be a Marubozu candle if you're into your Japanese candlestick terms. So it's not quite a Marubozu, because usually with a Marubozu you'll get the close right at the bottom of the candle, and you won't really get many wicks. But you can see it's a big red candle here on high volume. Essentially, volume validates price. So this large red candle is matched with a large amount of volume, which suggests that this is just pure selling right here. And it's not until you see a bullish candle on high volume that you can start saying the bottom might be in. So we'd want to see a big hammer candle or a big doji candle before we can even consider the idea of this being the bottom. So that certainly hasn't happened at this level, this 3600 level. So I'm certainly waiting for price to come down lower. Now, as I say, this is a very, very significant level, 3600. It was the weekly order block, the bottom of the weekly order block. So when we went on the week, so you can see that now we're on the weekly time frame. You can see it's the red candle that precedes the big move up, which determines the order block. So the bottom of the order block would be here at around that 3600 level. The order block that's been drawn out here is from the daily time frame. Yeah, you can see. So in fact, even on this time frame, you can say this is the order block, with this being the bottom, again the 3600 level. But I've actually included the bottom here, this base here. So yeah, this is where I see price. The next point of support is 3200. That's where I expect price to go to next. In terms of this Y wave, so just looking at it now from an Elliot wave point of view. So if we go in on the 4 hourly to look at this. So as I said, it's going to be a 3-wave move. First wave, second wave, third wave. Now the way I've counted it is, if this is off first wave, I've got this as this correction as a W X Y. So how on earth have I drawn that? So this is first of all our 3 waves up. So W X Y to make our W. Then X is a 3 waves down. So I've got this 1, 2, 3 here. To make our X wave, and then we've got a regular flat to make the Y wave. So it's a 3, 3, 5 subwave count. So yeah, that's what I've got for this WXY, which then leads on to this. And you'll see if we do a fib extension of our wave W and extend it from where our Y wave will be, which will be at the end of this WXY. Look where we've come to, 3600, we're 1.236. And if we look at where the next level is, it's 3200, that's the 1.382. So this is where I expect the next point of support to be. So let's depict this a little bit clearer. So we've got this will be a W X Y, and we'll make that, just make it let's make it submillennium so it's nice and clear. Okay, so that's our W, this is X and this is Y, and the subwave count of the X wave is a WXY. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it so far. And within this Y wave, so we're really going into detail here. So I've got this to be 3 waves down, retracement, and you'll see this next 3 waves down is a 2.618 extension of the first 3 waves down. So let's have a look. Fib extension from here. These are 3 waves down. Extend that. Okay, almost at the 2.618. Then we got a retracement. So it's basically like having, I think it's going to end up being like a triple zigzag. So if this is our first zigzag, retracement, the second zigzag starts at this level, comes down to here, retraces to around here, and you can see it's at that 3600 level is where the 0.618 extension is. So I'm now expecting a retracement before we see another zigzag down. Okay, so it could perhaps retrace to this the upper part of the order block. We did test that here, so you can see these order blocks have been very significant. This is again this daily order block. You can see really nice support here, now acting as resistance. So this is what we call an SR flip. So it's a support resistance flip where previous support is now acting as resistance. So there is a possibility we could come up, retest this resistance point here before then coming down further. That's the way I see it playing out. At the moment we're very, very close to this support line. So yes, we could just roll over, but as I say, we are right now at the median line, and if we are to break it, your next target is the lower median line. And I'm not sure I mean, yes, it could come down that fast, it could do, but I've got a feeling this is a very significant level. My gut feeling is that we're going to come up a bit higher before we break this level, this 3600 level, convincingly. That's my gut feeling. I'm not trading it right now, certainly not, because the bulk of the move was when this order block broke, and look how dramatically it came down. And this is where I was looking really to take profits, purely because of this order block having been reached here. So you can see these order blocks really acting as very good support and resistance. If we go in even on our hourly time frame, it's a bit clearer to see. So you can see we hit, actually, let's go on the 15-minute. So we hit the bottom of our order block. We then came up to the halfway point, which was the equilibrium of this order block, and we broke down. Then we hovered just beneath this order block where it acted as excellent resistance, and then we dramatically came down all the way down to support, which was the next order block. We then hit it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, third time broke through, and then we've come down to the equilibrium of this order block. Then we came back up to the top of the order block, now back down to the equilibrium. And as I say, I wouldn't be surprised for us to at least come up to the top of this order block again before we come back down. So yeah, 3200 is my initial target. So yeah, and if we zoom out, just going on the daily now, let's be ready in case it breaks down even further. So the next point of support would be 3000. That's a very obvious support resistance or resistance support flip. So nice resistance here, and now excellent support here. So a very key level. So that if 3200 breaks, 3000 would be the next point of support. Following that, you've got to look at your next order block, which is within here. And to look at that, I would go on the weekly time frame. And as I said before, you look at the biggest opposing candle that preceded the dramatic move. So this was your dramatic move up, these green candles here. This was your red candle that preceded it. So what I do, I draw an order block from the top of this red candle to the bottom of it. like so. So the top of it, what level is that? So that's around 2500, and the bottom of it is 1900. Okay, so those are my next key levels. Let's in fact just put a few price labels where we see potential support. So I'll leave them there. The other one was 3000, I won't label that one. And so that's that order block. I'm not going to go lower than this just because I first want to see this region get broken before we start talking about lower levels. And so we should really look at our fib levels as well, because 4300 was obviously our 0.786 retracement, but we need to look at what our next fib retracement will be after that. So you can see the 88.6 is around that 2400 level. So again, pretty close to that 2500 level of the upper line of that order block. So again, that's a pretty significant level. So we've got 2500 is a very significant level if 3000 breaks. Okay, let's tidy that up a bit, just take that one off. So basically what I'm saying is, to summarize, we've seen a big move down. I don't think it's the bottom, because we would have seen a lot more of a response, a lot more buying at this level. If it was the bottom, we'd see a big hammer candle on high volume, for example, or at least a big doji, which we just haven't seen. So whether that will occur, and also there's not been enough media attention. So when you've reached a bottom or a top, there's usually a lot of hysteria, and that's due to the story being in the media. So it'll be all over the media. It'll be certainly trending very highly. If you go on Google Trends or anything like that, Bitcoin will be right at the top. So until we see that, then the bottom really isn't in. So those are the things we need to look out for. So yeah, my next target is 3200, and if I was to make an assumption as to how that will play out, I do think we'll probably come up to the top of this order block before coming down further. We may even hit it down here going into January, where we just hover close to this median line. That said, if this breaks, then we could even go to the next level of the pitchfork, which would be the lower median line, which would actually look like it's going to break through 3200, 3000, and go to maybe 2500, or even test the equilibrium of this order block. That's not my preferred option. I think this 3600 is a very significant level. I expect a bit of consolidation back and forth here before we come down and test this 3200. That's the way I see it playing out for now. But yeah, let's see what happens. We need a bit more price action to determine what will happen next. Yeah, so let's see. I did mention, I think it was in my previous video, I mentioned I'd be bringing out a course. I did say it was going to be a few weeks, which was probably about a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, I mean, the course content is pretty much all done. All I'm waiting for right now is accounts to be set up. So that's what's holding me back, and it's taking longer than expected. So yeah, I really hope it's not going to take long. Don't worry about not knowing when it's coming out. I'll make it very obvious. I'll make sure there's big discounts for you guys. I'm going to price it at what I consider a price of value, but as I say, you guys made this channel work, YouTube channel, and even my Twitter following, so there's going to be a good discount early on. So, but don't worry about missing out on that. I'll make it very clear you're not going to miss out. But yeah, that's soon to come. But yeah, this is how I'm looking at things right now. Just closely monitoring the pitchfork, the order blocks, and the Elliot wave count. 3200. That's all. That's what my eyes are on right now. Until we break that, then I'll start focusing a bit closer as to where we might go from there. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. I'll wrap it up there. Take care, guys.